When I was a child or a young boy with a disability doing my CA course, when I was, lifted, I have to be put into an auto, taken to the auditor's office for my, articleship. People used to stare at me, look at me as though I am a very different kind of species in the universe. But I didn't care because I thought exposing myself is an education to the society. They learn from me. And what I am telling them is, I am not different from you. And when somebody asked me, what is your problem? I told that person I didn't have any problem. I don't have any problem. He was blinking at me as though I am a kind of a demented fellow. But I told him that you are looking at my wheelchair, not at me.
Right.
That is your problem, not mine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the India Autism Center podcast, a space where we amplify voices of awareness, innovation, and inclusive thinking that shape the world of disability care and neurodiversity. I'm your host, Trisha, and today's conversation centers on a powerful idea. What does true inclusion look like when it moves beyond charity and becomes community transformation? Joining us today is Sankara Raman Srinivasan, a gold medalist, an All India rank holder, chartered accountant, disability rights leader, social entrepreneur, and promoter co-chairman and secretary of Amar Seva Sangam, as well as an Ashoka Fellow. His work on village-based rehabilitation and early intervention, including the MVBREI digital platform, is transforming lives not only in Tamil Nadu, but across India and now globally. Sankara Raman, welcome to
Yes.
our podcast.
Happy to meet you.
Thank you so much,
Happy
sir.
to be with the India Autism Center.
It's our pleasure, sir. So, how are you?
I am great. Top of the world.
So, we'll move on to the discussion.
Okay.
Parents of children with disabilities often carry a heavy emotional and logistical burden.
Yeah.
From your experience, what kind of support systems do you think community networks, peer groups, or local caregivers make the greatest difference in avoiding caregiver burnout?
Yeah. This is a very relevant question. It is a challenge across parents with not only children with autism, but with any kind of disabling condition.
Right.
Actually, I would say that the functional challenges faced by the children need not be considered as a disability at all. It is the way that the society is looking at it, the kind of support system that is existing or non-existing, that makes the situation all that more challenging and all that more making the parent feel that their child is having a disability. It is only a condition that the child is having. And the burden that now is on the shoulders of the parents is not only just physical, not only the kind of relationship strain that the parent is having with the child, but it is more a question of how the situation is looked upon by the parents.
Right.
Every child communicates with the parent and with the people around, including the child with autism or intellectual disabilities or any developmental delay. But it is the problem of the people around who doesn't understand the communication of the child.
Right.
It is like tennis game, you serve, and somebody has to return your serve. Suppose in olden days, let me say, corners and McEnroe tennis players, because I belong to those days of highlighted tennis. Nowadays, there are many more. If corners serve and McEnroe doesn't return, then what will happen? Suppose a football player like Maradona hits the ball into the goalpost and there is no goalkeeper,
Right.
then what is the use of Maradona being a great champion? So there has to be a response. There has to be a kind of a challenge that every child would like to have, despite the condition the child is already having. Because the child, as such, doesn't know that it is having certain conditions which are not the same like other children. The child, from the child's perspective, is the same child like any other child. So when the child communicates something, the child expects a return. The child also will expect a challenge. So the child's abilities come up. They develop. So here is where the parent's role becomes all the more important. But the real situation is the parents are helpless because the parents are taunted by the society, by their own family members.
Very true.
The father of the child deserts the mother. One can imagine the kind of situation the mother is facing. So it is a emotional, it is relationship challenges. It is the kind of attitude challenges that a parent face from their own close family members, from the neighborhood, from the larger extended family. So what the parent will do? So most often what they do is they don't tell the world that the child is having some problems. They try to hide and keep it as something secret. That is against the interest of the child. In some cases, the parents really want to do something, but where to go? When I was 1 year old, I was having something called muscular dystrophy as a condition, but nobody knew that it was a muscular dystrophy. And in those days, there were no doctors who can diagnose it as a muscular dystrophy. And then my parents had to run pillar to post. And finally, one day, when I was 3 years old, an expert neurologist diagnosed me. Till then, there was nobody to diagnose. But then I am fortunate that I am diagnosed at least at the age of 3, because I was able to get the necessary inputs, a kind of an early intervention, so that made my intelligence or my mind to adapt to my situation as they evolve itself, because it is a condition that is slowly and gradually, progressive. So I knew that, but a similar experience many parents in India, particularly in rural areas, don't have. So there is a gap. There is a need to bridge this huge vacuum. And there is a need for the society to be empathetic. And, every person would like to see another person with similar challenges. For example, to be on the lighter side, when I am doing my CA, I used to see another, student colleague, my peer, who is also doing CA and who is also struggling to pass. Okay, unfortunately, I didn't have to struggle. I got through easily, maybe by God's grace or whatever. But the reality is that we all of us, like to have a peer group that will make us comfortable.
True.
So, as you have rightly said, what is the peer group influence? It is absolutely right. One has to have parents groups, parents associations who can network. The parents in the same area having children with the challenges to come together. So we have set up in our own place in Amar Seva Sangam something called as a parents managed respite centers.
Okay.
We started it in 2000, 2001, 25 years back. In a local area where 15 to 20 parents are there with problems, with situations, with children having such issues, we group them together and set up a parents managed centers. So they cohesively work together and manage them, and we provide them with the necessary human resources, with the necessary training, awareness program, and it is a continuous support that they require, and also provide them with funding support. But the parents manage the centers by themselves. They decide whom to be employed, which special educators to be working with them, what kind of a center they should hire and rent out to have the program for their kids. And it is they who decide who will be the leader on a rotational basis. And it is a highly democratic system. So in that way, the parents are able to support each other.
Right.
Suppose one parent is having a situation where they have to go out for a marriage or for any other function or any other family crisis, then the other parents take care of the child at the center. Maybe even in their house, when the center is closed after 5 o'clock in the evening, the child goes to another parent's house and stay with them when their own parents are not there for various reasons. This is the kind of a peer support that we are talking about. If it is done in an organized manner, or even if it is done in a very non-formal situations, it is a necessary requirement that will keep the things going. Another important aspect is the government entitlements. The government is offering a lot of schemes, programs,
Okay.
whether it is West Bengal or Tamil Nadu or even central government. All states have programs for children with special needs, including autism. And these entitlements should reach the child. This is a very important bridging of the situation because the parents are double whammy affected. They have a child with challenges where they need to spend a lot of money, resources. At the same time, their own economic conditions are a challenge.
Yes.
Particularly in rural areas. Even if they are a middle class parent, this kind of support helps the parent to secure the additional money in their hands for the welfare of their child in their future.
Yes.
So this is a very important requirement. The other important requirement is the community's empathy towards the parents and also the child. For example, it is funny to our own experience. A girl child of 4 years old, when our people were going to give early intervention, the child is having developmental issues. But the parents didn't want the community worker to go and give the intervention. The reason was the parents were telling, see, after the child grows up, who will marry this girl? A 4-year-old girl, the parents are thinking 20 years down the line
About my
and imagining a problem. So why this is happening? Because the society is having such kind of dogmatic opinions about people with such challenges, about the children. A girl with a eyesight problem doesn't wear a glass because she feels that wearing a glass, their husband may not object, but their in-laws will object. Okay. So these kind of dogmatic feelings, these taboos should not be there. And the community has to be empathetic. And the children and people with such challenges are looked at as a burden, which is absolutely wrong. We people are capable. We can deliver.
Absolutely.
Even a child with intellectual disabilities, because of them, so many special educators are there. So many psychologists are there.
Yes.
We children with intellectual disabilities are providing employment to you guys, caregivers.
Correct.
So why are you considering us as a burden? We are your employers.
Yes.
Okay. So that's how we have to look at it positively. Every child, every person with disabilities has a right to be equal with others,
Yes.
to be given different kind of interventions to make that equality to happen. And this is the only way by which you can envision an inclusive India.
Mhm.
An inclusive India is where we are all the same and nobody is considered as disabled or non-disabled. Everyone has an equal opportunity, a level playing ground. And it is an inclusive India where the people are looked at as the evolution of God, the diversity as a part of the evolution. And we, India, an inclusive India, should open up to every citizen of this country, including those who are labeled as disabled, which is not true.
Absolutely. Very well put. So, before we move to our next discussion point, here's a quick look at who we are.
Imagine a space designed not just to care for individuals with autism, but to empower them. A place where knowledge grows, support flourishes, and possibilities expand. This is India Autism Center. It is built to redefine how we approach autism. Through education, research, and community-driven initiatives, we create an environment where individuals with autism can thrive. Samavesh, our residential campus, is designed for individuals with autism to live, learn, and grow with dignity and independence. It is more than just a place to stay. It is a space to belong. Manan, our training academy, prepares professionals to provide specialized care. Through structured programs, we equip individuals with the skills to support neurodivergent communities with confidence and compassion. Khoj, our research division, is dedicated to advancing our understanding of autism. Through data-driven studies and collaborative research, we work towards shaping the future of neurodiversity.
So, one of the core strengths of Amar Seva Sangam is that it is not designed as a charity model, but as a participation and empowerment model. Could you share how this philosophy became foundational to your work and why mindset shift matters?
We look at disability as a developmental issue. It is no more a welfare. Welfare rollouts is only a beginning, but it is not an end. Welfare is absolutely essential, but the problem is people stops with that. But this should be only a kickstart. As I told you, the disability is not a constraint. It is a condition only. And when we created self-help groups in our local community, local district, way back in 2000, 2001, we refined our mission statement as creating a demand system in the society among persons with disabilities. Even before that, we, when started in 1981 onwards, we believed that people with disabilities are not going to be treated as beneficiaries at all. What we are giving to them is not because of a mere charity. It is the entitlement of those people. They have every right to get it.
Right.
Because they are not getting it and we are giving it, doesn't mean that they are kind of second-rate citizens. And whatever we provide, even though it is free, we consider ourselves as a responsible, accountable, and people who has a in-depthness to them to provide services. Investment in the sector is very important. So, in our place, even the residential programs that we started about 30, 32 years back, we created the infrastructure with state-of-the-art technology. The space per child is of global standard even in those days. Some people said that these are poor kids and you don't have to give this kind of a five-star facility kind of, accommodation for them. But we said no, they deserve it. If they don't have it in their house, let them have it here. At least when they go back and they grow bigger and older, and when they become wage earners of their own, they will remember this facility
Yes.
and establish something similar in their own way for their own life. This is the vision we are going to inject in the minds of the children. We always believed in establishing environments that are conducive for people with disabilities to grow themselves. They should not be made dependent. We believed that providing absolute security throughout their life is not the purpose of our work. We have to enable them and we have to prepare them to face the world, to face the challenges of the world. And that is the reason why all our programs, nobody is there for a lifelong support in our center, except the new program that we have started for intellectually disabled children for their life care and well-being, which is a need of the society. Other than that, for all the younger people, it is only a transitional program. We want to transform them into a successful and capable citizens so that from being considered as a burden, they will become a breadwinner. So that's the model that we wanted to develop. And we have developed. And we are happy that we have developed. And now you see that hundreds of children who have gone out of our organization leading a wonderful life and successful life. And last year, the alumni came, they arranged a program, and they gave us a memento. And they gave us a sari, a dress for us, for a sari for my wife. So that is the real happiness. That is the symbol of success. Not for the organization, but for the people with disabilities who got the right intervention at the right time. So that is what is more important. The message is clear. If you look at them as a valuable citizens And your approach is to provide enabling conditions for them. And we look at the developmental aspects of the child, then the results are going to be highly successful. Not only for the institution, not only for the person with disabilities, but for the family of person with disabilities and for the entire society.
If you're watching or listening and finding this conversation meaningful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories on autism, disability, and inclusive innovations. Your enabling inclusion model brings rehabilitation directly into the home and community. What gaps in traditional rehabilitation does this solve, especially for families who do not have easy access to specialized therapy centers?
Yeah, this is a very common situation we find in India, particularly in any rural area in this country. See, the awakening came to us only 12 years back. Before that, we were doing community programs, community rehab programs. We have set up a huge center, a 30-acre center in our place with all state-of-the-art technology, facilities, rehab professionals, everyone and everything is in place. The rehab workers are also there on the field, but still I saw a mother with a child about 2 years old, a girl whose neck was not stabilized.
Right.
And the girl was falling. So when I went to that area, that area is called Karuvanda, the local village. I asked the mother, why did you come to Srinivasan for treatment?
Mhm.
She said, how can I come there? So that's enough. That's enough for me because that word is strong enough to convey many things. So we realized that establishing centers are not going to solve their problems. Access to them is the most important thing. And they cannot take bus travels in rural areas, which are very rare. And they don't come frequently.
Okay.
And they have to lose their entire day for bringing the child to our center.
Mhm.
That means they will be losing 200 to 300 rupees per day because they cannot do work. They cannot earn money on that day.
Mhm.
And they have to spend for the travel. And it is a double whammy disadvantage for them. And they have other children who are also requiring attention from the parents.
Right.
So, how can a parent ration their time between the children and their family household requirements? So, then is the thought process of providing solutions at their doorsteps. But then, when we send workers to their doorsteps, we do not know what is happening. And the trained workers, whether they are doing a right kind of job or not. So, there we came with a kind of idea. Because the internet and mobile phones are flooding the society in those days, 2014 to be precise.
Mhm.
And the internet is not expensive. The GPS technology has come. The cloud technology has come. So why don't we harness those technologies to make the delivery of services to the homes to be made more systematic,
Right.
process-driven, and with authentic delivery of services
Right.
ensured through technology. So we created a model solution and we handed over tablets, that is a mobile phone with a bigger screen. And every child who was um, diagnosed, a treatment plan was given by a therapist, a physio, a special educator, an occupational therapist, or a speech pathologist. They all put together a rehab plan, and the entire plan fed into the cloud server for that particular child. And they have a goal set
Right.
for a period of 6 months. According to the goal set, a therapy plan. And all these are done in consultation with the parents. Because as I was telling you, the parents are the one who are going to be the real people delivering the services to the child.
Yes.
We people in the organization are the therapist. Our role is only as a facilitator. But it is the parents who needs to be empowered. So we adopted the family-centered approach model of WHO, and we incorporated that into our solution in our app. So we discussed with the parents their priorities, therapist assessments, and the child needs are optimized, and the therapy plan is obtained. So all these things are technology driven. It is driven by the app itself.
Right.
After that, it will be a plan for next 6 months, and assignment of the child to a particular community rehab worker. And the community rehab worker will have to go there as per the plan, check in the app, and once completed, check out. And in that check-in, check-out period, they have to check what are all the therapy plans that were executed for the child on that particular session.
Right.
So this happened for about a couple of years, and we did an analysis and found that because of this, the engagement of the therapy sessions with the child has gone up to 85%. From 60%, which was there before, when manual things were operated. Because here, their entire attendance, everything was monitored real time by the GPS. As the therapist check in, the balloon fixes onto the child's location on the map. So if the planned session is not happening, our people from the center will call the worker. What is happening?
Right.
So the sessions complaints was very high. Then after 2016, we conducted several research with various universities from Canada and India, and we published a lot of results. And there was a huge correlation between the therapy sessions and the school enrollment when the child got the school appropriate age of 5 to 6. The children who were getting higher therapy sessions, those communities, the enrollment was higher. Those children who could not get high compliance because of so many reasons, those enrollments were lower. So you had a cohort with a high therapy sessions and with the medium or low, and directly correlated to the school enrollment.
Right.
Same correlation was established between the parent and child engagement. The parent and child engagement was very poor before. It became so high, it was almost 95%. And again, the correlation was the therapy sessions more, the parent-child engagement was more. The therapy sessions less, the engagement was less.
Right.
So this was a publication which gave us an award from the UN in New York as well as in Vienna, the United Nations award. And the third correlation that we established was the reduction in the parents' stress.
Right.
It got reduced by up to 73%. The first question you asked was the parents' stress. Now here is a model that so long as you engage with your child more, your stress goes down, not goes up. Here is where a solution where you have a family-centered approach, which means that the entire life day-to-day activities of the child is also an automatic therapy for the child. The parents need not very specifically spend time or exert themselves for these sessions. So, whatever happens, the environment in the house, the way the child is made to live in the house, all this become a part of the life of the child, and the parent's stress also goes down. So, this is the model which we told the Tamil Nadu government, and it took us some 3-4 years to advocate with them. And finally, in 2021, 2020, we got a pilot with the Tamil Nadu government with 3 districts. And in 2.5 years' time, the pilot was highly successful. And the entire Tamil Nadu is now adopting our solution. And we became their knowledge partner. And by the time our model expanded up to school aging group also, not up to 0 to 6. So now, up to the age 24, our solutions got recognized, and we have now become the partners with Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan in our Tamil Nadu state for school inclusive education.
Oh,
So now the question is the challenge in inclusive education.
yes.
It is no more a challenge of technology or no more a challenge of model, but it is a challenge of how we adopt the pedagogy, the curriculum, the way child is assessed in terms of its academic proficiencies. So these are all the challenges which we are working now with the government. So this solution has completely transformed. It cut down all the time and distances, and it reduced the cost. From same amount of investment, the Tamil Nadu government is able to deliver 10 times the number. So it is a 90% cost saving, and for us also. And now it is across all age groups. It is no more any age limit in our model. And across all disabilities except the medical related disabilities like blood disorders, etc. Our solution is able to cater up to 16 kinds of disabilities, including muscular dystrophy, spinal injury, stroke, and many more. Hearing, visual, intellectual, autism, Down syndromes, and spectrum related disabilities. So this model is working very well and is empowering. Our ultimate aim is to empower rehabilitation, empowerment, and the inclusion. So that is our goal.
Very well explained, sir.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next section of it. Let's talk about early intervention. There is wide agreement that early support is critical, but execution is often inconsistent. What are the non-negotiables of effective early intervention that truly change developmental outcomes?
Suppose you have a child who doesn't have intellectual challenges, who doesn't have any autistic or spectrum issues, who doesn't have any visual or hearing, who doesn't have any locomotor issues, then what you will be giving to the child? Emotional, relationship, education, opportunities to play, opportunities to develop. What else you will give for a child? The same opportunities should be given to these children also. What is the question of non-negotiation coming up? Nothing is negotiable. Everything has to be there. A child like me, I have good intellectual faculties, but I have no movement on my limbs. Does it mean that I may be treated in a different way? If I am a child with autism or any other disorders, It is only a functional condition, impairment. This impairment must not be converted into a disability.
Right.
You label us as a person with disabilities. Because of what? Because of you people. Because the environment is not providing us an opportunity. It is the environment that is making this term disability at all to come into the place.
True.
You know, there is Peter Rosenbaum, whom I read about 8-9 years back. He is from Canchild in Canada. He doesn't consider anything as a disability at all for a child. He says that it is the incapacity or incompatibility, I should say. It is the incompatibility of a person's functional abilities with the environment's capacity to access them that results into a terminology called disability. Disability is only very contextual. It is very relative. If one person is disabled in one kind of circumstances, the same person will be fully capable in another kind of circumstances.
Absolutely.
If I were not to be provided with adequate caregiving support, escort support, will I be talking to you now? I will be sitting in a corner of a house, labeled as useless person. And if I were a child treated in that way, would I have become a chartered accountant?
Absolutely.
Because my parents gave me these opportunities. My family members never treated me as a person with disability. I have 3 older sisters, and I am the youngest boy. And I was in competition with my sisters. They will not allow me even to have one additional cup of coffee from my mother. They will say it is a discrimination. Okay, my father doesn't give me any privilege for my studies. He will put me to task if I don't score well. Okay, I am not treated as a person with disability at all in my family. So I was treated on par. That's why I am here.
Absolutely.
That brings the best out of any person with disability to be given the same chance and same opportunities, the same kind of treatment without discrimination. And that is what is required for early intervention also. When a child in young ages is not discriminated, is provided with the same kind of interactions, the same kind of engagement with the child definitely will grow, because it is in that age, 0 to 3, when the brain cells of the child grow in an enormous manner. So it is that time where this engagement is very essential. Again, from 3 to 6, it is very essential. By the time if the child is prepared, as our model has shown, the child will be ready for schooling. And the next stage comes. So when the child is prepared for schooling, a foundation is already laid. Then one has to build on that. That is what is more important.
I agree.
Yeah.
And finally, for parents, caregivers, or young disabled individuals listening today who may feel overwhelmed, what message of strength and possibility would you like to leave them with?
Don't call or tell that a person is with disability. Disability is a terminology we require for the sake of giving us the necessary entitlements from the society, not beyond that.
Right.
Because none of us are disabled.
Right. Absolutely.
We are all able. You are able. I am also able.
Absolutely.
Parents don't have to wait for the society to recognize them or understand them.
Mm-hmm.
Let the parent make themselves understood by others. When I was a child or a young boy with disability doing my CA course, when I was, lifted, I have to be put into an auto, taken to the auditor's office for my, articleship. People used to stare at me, look at me as though I'm a very different kind of species
Mhm.
in the universe. But I didn't care because I thought exposing myself is an education to the society.
Right.
They learn from me.
Absolutely.
And what I am telling them is, I am not different from you. And when somebody asks me, what is your problem? I told that person I didn't have any problem. I don't have any problem. He was blinking at me as though I am a kind of a demented fellow. But I told him that you are looking at my wheelchair, not at me.
Right.
That is your problem, not mine. Okay? So the parents don't have to consider themselves as something different or having some problem with their child. They need to be self-advocating parents. They have to establish that they have right to be equal in the society. They have the right for their child to be treated equally in the society. And if that is not happening, they don't have to wait. They have to establish these rights by themselves. And the more they try to keep away from this, the more they keep expecting the society to do this for them, the more they are depriving themselves. So, parents, I would say, the society is waiting for the parents to come out and declare themselves as equal citizens along with their children. It is not the other way about.
Right. So, sir, thank you so much for sharing your experience. To our listeners, if you found this conversation helpful, meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the India Autism Center podcast. Until next time, watch the video popping up on your screen.